Hey, what's up folks, it's Pixel here. So I've been a little bit reluctant to making one of these like Alpha 20 update videos during the early dev stream, just because you don't really know what's the features that are actually going to be delivered in the final build. And to be fair, I still don't. But however, this past week I've been consuming a copious amount of dev stream via the live playthroughs, like the actual playthroughs, not just showcasing some of the features, and I think I've got a better idea of what features are going to be actually in the final build of Alpha 20. So with that being said, in this video I'm going to primarily talk about the environment and the world generation in general. So random world gen, or RWG as most people kind of like refer it to, is getting basically a complete rework. So before it would take like 20 to 40 minutes to generate an 8K map, depending on how good your computer was, but now it roughly takes around 5 to 6 minutes, again depending on your computer, to generate 8K map. And this is a massive increase, obviously, because because it took so long, we used to use applications like Nitrogen and KingGen, and also with a bit more control on how to create a world. But now, with the massive increase in speed, it's probably less likely we're going to do that, and also just play with the vanilla RWG for quite a while. So not only have they increased the performance time in creating an 8K map, they've also actually included sliders. It's very rudimental. It's nothing like fancy as we've seen in the applications I've made before, but you can now control like the amount of hills you have, the amount of flatlands you have, the amount of mountain ranges that you have, and all that kind of stuff. And it's on like a weight system, so it's like if there's a mountain slider and it's set to 0, you're not going to get any mountains and all that kind of stuff. And you can set like the different biomes and all that kind of, which is quite nice. So we never had that before in previous iterations of our 7 Days to Die, but now they've added it in, and I guess it's the start of something. They could potentially expand that to have a finite kind of control of random world generation, but we'll see how that goes. But for now, they've added a rudimentary slider for random world generation, and it's going to be pretty cool. So with the world like being generated in such a quick pace, they've also added what they call a city tile system. So basically the city tile system is, I'll try and explain this as simple as possible. When the world is generated and it gets to the town level of generation, there's going to be like set size of blocks, right? Set size of tiles. Okay, it could be like 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 5 by 5, whatever, right? And then within that, they have a whole list of different like buildings that can fit within that tile size. Okay, so then when they actually create cities, it's all going to be completely different, because every tile is going to be randomly generated in size, and then it's going to be randomly placed in a different location, and then after that a random building is going to be put on top. So basically every time that you're going to create a map, it's going to be completely different with the tile generation. Along with that, they've also managed to somehow make like districts. So now the city, when you open the map, is gonna look incredibly different, because the wilderness is gonna feel way more sparse. Like it's gonna feel like spacious, maybe a little bit safer because you can see everywhere around you. But then as soon as you move into like a town or a city, it's gonna feel very claustrophobic, very compact. It's gonna feel a little bit more dangerous, because like that building's gonna have a zombie, and that building's gonna zombie, and if I make some noise here, zombies might come out, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I think it's generally great that they've now generated those kind of districts. So like you'll get like these farmland areas, or you got like the typical barn with like the field out front with the crops and stuff, and then you get the downtown districts as well, which have like more low-rise buildings, and then you have the city district, which have like more larger high-rise buildings, but also larger highways in between as well. So yeah, you're gonna get these like big spaces of well, big areas of space, and then also high density in where there's going to be POIs as well, which is great. I like the contrast in feel. Not only that as well, they've also made like mini districts. So what they said was like, when you go into a town, there's going to be a gateway district. And basically what that means is like a trader is going to be at the front door of a particular town or a particular area, just kind of welcome you into the cities, and that trader will always be there at this gateway district. So overall, very, very good changes. I think it's dramatically different to what we've had before, and especially because they've added like just generally loads of reskins of POIs, new POIs, and also new basically building assets. So like there's going to be more street lamps, traffic lights, fire hydrants, just a little bit more completeness to the overall world generation. In addition to that, they've also added layers of POIs. So not only will you now just get everything from street level and above, but now below it, you're gonna get like sewers and things like that. So they've added like a sewer system, sewer tiling system into the city generation as well. So, and because of that, cities are gonna feel like a lot more flat. I mean, they were kind of flat anyway before, but in order for the sewers to kind of line up and all that kind of stuff, everything has to be on a similar level and a similar alignment as well. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, have a sewer pipe here and then have a sewer pipe below it, and it's just not gonna mesh together. So yeah, it's gonna feel a little bit more artificial, but I mean, it's a city. A city is artificial anyway, so it's gonna feel good. So yeah, so city generation has been overhauled, and it generally feels good. Not only that, yeah, as I mentioned, the traders have all been well, not all of them, sorry. So some of the traders have all been reskinned as well. So if we take example for like Trader Hugh has got a facelift, literally a facelift. He looks a lot cleaner, new updated model, and not only that, his POI has been updated as well. So you know, the one with the like the log spikes around the outside, so the outside looks kind of similar, but when you get inside, behind him, he no longer has a gun safe. He has like a equipment rack behind him, and also like when you approach him, he's got smoke coming from the chimney, which is a first. So like you can see the trader from a mile away now from all these kind of like smoke particles, which is great. And not to mention the most important change, they've added a toilet. So, you know, because even in the apocalypse, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So Trader Hugh now has a toilet. So if you have the urge, you know where to go. And then finally, on top of that, they've added something called, I think it's called dynamic imposters. Basically, what that means is that when a player builds something and then they go out of like view distance, you can see a silhouette of what that player's built in the distance. So before, what would happen, or what currently happens now, is that you would, let's say you build like a tower that's like 20 blocks high or whatever like that. You drive out of view distance, that tower block would completely disappear. It wouldn't exist, and the view distance would either be like truncated, so you'd see nothing beyond that, or you would see whatever the previous generation was there before you built the tower, right? So let's say you knock down Dijon Tower and then you built your own tower. When you moved out of view distance, you'd see Dijon Tower, but when you got closer, you'd see your own tower, right? So dynamic imposters basically removes that. So when you drive further away, you can now see your building, and then get closer, your building will still be there. So yeah, overall, the environment has been the environment generation and the environment itself has been significantly improved. The speed of which has been improved as well in terms of like generation. And yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm not really sure how far they were going to go with it, but it's definitely a mass improvement on what they had before, and I can't wait to get my hands into it and play around with all the sliders in different districts and actually get into a city as well. So guys, tell me what you think about the new random world generation. If you think it's a step in the right direction, do you like that they've got districts and things like now? Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and yeah, and I'll catch you in the next one.